Well, good evening, everyone. I wanted to put together just a short study of Jeremiah 50 and 51 that describe a nation that's called out in the Bible as Babylon. And in the Bible, Revelation 18, Revelation 17, Jeremiah 50, 51, this nation, Babylon, is destroyed. It's an evil, satanically led nation. But what I've seen, when you study these chapters 50 and 51 from Jeremiah, and even a little bit from Revelation 18, it seems like Babylon really is the USA. And I want to use these two chapters and a little bit of Revelation 18 to prove it. And moreover, when you read Jeremiah 50 and 51, you see continual references that are made, descriptive attributes, references to Babylon that align with direct scriptural texts that describe Ephraim from Hosea and Isaiah. So we have descriptions of Babylon in here, and I'll show you here. It'll say Babylon shall become a desolation, and it says Ephraim shall become a desolation. So what I want to say is, my theory is this, that the United States, you've seen my videos, the United States is the modern representation of Ephraim. That's clear. There's no disputing that. When you read Genesis 8, Genesis 48, and you've seen my videos, it's Ephraim is the only answer to that question. The United States was doubly blessed. Ephraim means double blessing. The USA is Ephraim, and when you read Hosea, chapters 5 through 13 or 14, you see what happens to Ephraim. Because Ephraim in the modern times was no different than Ephraim in the ancient times. They took themselves up to every high place and whored themselves out as a prostitute, and that's what the United States has done in modern times. Okay, so this is my theory. Okay, the USA and Ephraim has become Babylon, or slowly been taken over quietly by a satanic-led shadow government that is run by dark forces in the CIA. And I can show you, I'll have a link to a video where a CIA agent explains this. He doesn't explain the satanic side of it. He just explains how the CIA basically operates outside of the Constitution. So any entity that operates within the United States outside of the Constitution has taken over this country, and that's what happened. The CIA came into existence with a law that was passed on September 18, 1947, exactly 70 years ago in a couple days. The CIA is financed by the central banks, which are owned by the Rothschilds. And they have covertly taken over many nations of the world. So Babylon is more than just the USA, but it's centralized out of the USA. But really, it stretches its tentacles all over the world. You know, Australia, Canada. The CIA's got operatives all over the world, but they haven't been able to infiltrate to any degree, serious degree, Russia and China. It's funny how the Lord has kept them free of Babylon, because they're the ones that are going to destroy Babylon. Okay, so like I said, my synopsis is this. It would appear that Babylon is the world financial system operated by the central banks, where the CIA is like the goon squad to carry out the whims of this satanic system. The system seems to be centralized out of New York. There's a strange connection with Wall Street and the CIA, and I have a link down at the end of this thing where this guy goes into it, and he shows it. I'll go to the video now.
Academia need to come out
so
everybody's talking
this
about
guy right here, he exposes it, and he's in fear of his life. He gets down and shows you the laws, how it went into effect. He shows you how they basically have total control over Congress. We do not have a free operating government on the Constitution. It's gone. And it all started 70 years ago. And then we know that there was an ancient nation called Judah, the southern kingdom of Judah, who was taken over by Babylon in around 600 BC. Isn't that kind of funny? The ancient nation of Judah was taken over by Babylon, exiled for 70 years. And so has the United States. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, so when you read this, I'm going to go through this really quickly. And the justification here, it's real simple. It's black and white. It says X in the USA and Ephraim is X. It's too coincidental to say these two don't line up. And people are going to say that, oh, it's not. It's the Vatican. Somehow the Vatican's connected, but I would look at the Vatican as being Mystery Babylon, that woman. I think it's different. There are two kind of Babylons. It's almost like a secular business financial Babylon, Revelation 18 and Revelation 17, many think is the religious whore prostitute Babylon. So I'm not going to argue that the Vatican and the Catholic Church, all that stuff, I would look at that as slightly different. But you can't deny that, because in Revelation 18 it talks about a great city where all these merchants are wailing. There's no merchants that would be wailing outside of the Vatican, and the Vatican gets destroyed. See, you can't go there with it. Okay, so I have 17 highlighted yellow texts throughout these two chapters, and each one of these highlighted yellow texts directly points to the United States of America as being Babylon. You can't get around it. It's too coincidental. Okay. One thing to note. Well, let me get into this real quick. Right here. Her images are put to shame. What nation has more TV shows and movies than the United States? Her idols are dismayed. Okay. For out of the north, that would be Russia, a nation to come against Babylon, the USA, which shall make her a desolation. None shall dwell in it, both man and beast shall flee away. It says in Hosea 5, Ephraim shall become a desolation in the days of punishment. You don't see where it says, Gad will become a desolation, or I'm just saying the verbiage is exactly the same. Look what it says here. In those days, and at that time, declares the Lord, the people of Israel, that's who I say they're Christians, and the people of Judah, the modern day Jews, shall come together. Weeping they shall come. Now this is Jeremiah 4, Jeremiah 50, verse 4. Weeping they shall come, and they shall seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion, with their faces turns to it, saying, Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in an everlasting covenant. This verse 4 is directly analogous to Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31. This is the first fruits reunion at the height of Mount Zion. With weeping they shall come, with pleas of mercy I will lead them back. Okay, so, and Ephraim is my firstborn. This is the spiritual Ephraim. That's the firstborn of God who gets taken to heaven in the rapture. Well, the rapture's first. Okay, there's a spiritual firstborn Ephraim, and then there's the Ephraim left back on the planet who's sucking it up when they get destroyed by Russia. Okay. Behold, the days are coming, and this is still Jeremiah 31, a new covenant that he will make with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. It's the same verbiage in verse 4. An everlasting covenant with the Jews and the Christians. And people get uptight. The people of Israel in the Old Testament are different than the people of Judah. The people of Israel are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And when Jesus walked the face of the earth, who did he say to that Syro-Phoenician woman who he came for? He said, I come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to save them on the cross. Okay? Those people became the Christians. So when you see this in the Old Testament, know what it's talking about. All right. I'm going to skip down until I see yellow text, okay? Here. Though you rejoice, though you exalt, O plunderers of my heritage. Here the Lord, in Jeremiah chapter 50, is referring to Babylon as his heritage. It doesn't make any sense. Well, Israel, Ephraim, is also called his heritage. Okay, so Babylon used to be his heritage. I'm sorry, Ephraim used to be his heritage until they were taken over by Babylon. It's like Ephraim/Israel converted itself to Babylon, allowed it to be taken over. Okay. Look what this says here. It says that this Babylon, though you frolic like a heifer in the pasture. Hosea 10. Ephraim was a trained heifer, calf that loved the thresh. See, same thing. Here, Babylon. I should highlight this. The last of the nations. I got 18 clues now. Well, if you look at the United States is a young country in 1787 or 1776 when it became a nation. That's young compared to the other nations of the world. Look at France, how long France has been around. The UK, Spain, all those countries. So the USA is a relatively young country compared to the countries of the world. Okay, here we go again. Utter destruction. That's the same as it's the same as Hosea 5:9, which Ephraim would become. Makes references to her wounds, Ephraim having wounds. Look what it says in Hosea 5:13. When Ephraim saw his sickness and Judah his wound, and Ephraim went to the Assyrian, that would be Barack Obama, the great king, but he's not able to cure them or heal their wound. Heal their wound. See? Babylon's got wounds, Ephraim's got wounds. Babylon gets arrows shot at her. Okay, Genesis 49, it says Joseph Ephraim gets bitterly attacked by arrows. Same reference. Babylon's bulwarks have fallen. Isaiah 17:3, Ephraim's defense system shall disappear. Same thing. Reference to Ephraim. I'm just going to jump through this, guys. Here, Babylon is referred to as a hammer. How Babylon, the hammer of the whole earth. The USA Ephraim has been, in these past 70 years after we won World War II, we became the lone superpower, and we were the hammer of the earth. The USA Ephraim was the hammer of the earth as it was taken over by the shadow government Babylon. That's how I see it, guys. Because you oppose the Lord. The USA has opposed the Lord. Well, many nations have opposed the Lord. I'm jumping through this, guys, because I don't want to go. Okay. For Babylon is a land of images. Okay, is there any more nation on the planet that has more motion pictures and TV? They are mad over their idols. Enough said. American Idol. Our celebrities in this country, people are crazy about. I mean, if you look at all the countries of the world and you add up all their celebrities, our celebrities are known all over the world. Here's Jeremiah 50, verse 44. I've mentioned this before. This is the plan that the Lord has. To take the little ones, the children, and drag them away from the fold, their parents. I've mentioned this a million times, guys. You know this. This is the children being taken. Jeremiah 51, next chapter. Babylon's going to get winnowers. Look, I will send winnowers. So if you're living in Babylon and you're a good Christian, you know who God is, and Jesus is your Lord, He's going to send harvest workers to come and harvest. That's to few the 144,000. And they shall winnow her. That means harvest. And barley gets winnowed, not the wheat grain. That has to go over a tribulin because it's too gritty and too hard. Barley wheat is easy to chew. You throw it up in the air to winnow it, like you would throw up, like the rapture would be. There's a mention to the Holy One of Israel. Babylon was a golden cup in the Lord's hand. And this doesn't make any sense. If you think about it, Babylon, a satanic country, is a golden cup. It's because the USA Ephraim was Babylon. And they were Ephraim. Babylon was Ephraim, a golden cup in the Lord's hand. The USA used to be standing with God. Now it's become Babylon. This is the USA, guys. What other country would... Russia? You know, ancient Iraq? Whatever's left over there in Babylon now? That doesn't make any sense at all, guys. Look, we would have healed Babylon, but she would not be healed. Okay, this is Jeremiah 51, verse 9, talking about Babylon. Look what it says in Hosea 7. When I would heal Israel, the iniquity of Ephraim was revealed. Hosea 5. When Ephraim saw his sickness and Judah his wound, then Ephraim went to the Assyrian and sent for the great king, but he was not able. But Ephraim was not able to be cured, to he be healed of his wound. It's all the same language. Babylon is USA Ephraim. O you who dwell by many waters. Okay, the USA dwells by many waters. And we got oceans on all sides of us, practically. We are rich in treasures. We're the richest nation on the planet. Who are you going to put there? Saddam Hussein's Iraq? That's ridiculous. You going to put the Vatican there? No. Every man is stupid without knowledge. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Okay, behold, I am against you, O Babylon, a destroying mountain. The USA's had the most powerful military on earth. We destroy all kind of things. Here's a reference, this green reference, to set up this is the sign of the Son of Man. Blow the trumpet. This is Isaiah 11:11. This is Matthew 24. This is the second raptures, guys. If you look at Isaiah 11, it's a second recovery. He'll make Babylon a desolation. Same thing before. Ephraim shall become a desolation. Yet in a little while, and the time of her harvest will come. How Babylon is taken, the praise of the whole earth seized. The USA, oh come on now, USA is or was the praise of the whole earth. There's no doubting that. Surely isn't Babylon and Iraq right now. Okay, guys. I will punish the images of Babylon. We got more images than you can shake a stick at in this country. More about her images. Wounded, she shall groan. He's going to send a destroyer to come upon Babylon. Remember the destroyer from the ancient text from that ancient text Bible. I forget the name of it. The Kilbron Bible, I think it's called. Guys, I'm sorry. Planet X is all over that thing. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here. Basically, this: if you read Revelation 18, you see these large merchant guys, these ship captains, these merchant guys, just wailing as they're looking at Babylon. That's New York guys. They're out in the Atlantic Ocean watching Babylon, New York, get destroyed. So I've talked about this here earlier. So go to this video, watch this guy talk about how this country has been overtaken by a shadow government, mostly run out of the CIA, and you'll kind of get the drift on why the USA is going to be destroyed by Russia and China, is what it seems like. And by the way, September 23 is the anniversary for when the United States learned from President Truman that Russia had a bomb. And also, on August 29th, that same year, 1949, I think, or 47, I think it was 49, that's the first day they let off that bomb. So, basically, we're at like a 68-year anniversary of that. So many folks are thinking, I'm not saying this is going to happen, many folks are thinking that if you read Revelation 12, and I'll go just jump to this because I see there's a lot of people talking about Revelation 12 right now. You got to look what it says, guys. It says a great sign appeared. This is September 23rd. It's verses 1 and 2. And what we learn from those two verses is that this woman, it's a woman, a gune, a married woman, an older woman, not a bride. It's not, I wouldn't call this the church at this point, but I don't know. A woman, a mature woman, is going to be crying out in labor and pains of agony at giving birth. So there's no rapture mentioned here. Okay? There's agony, there's destruction here. Okay? Then another sign appeared later, which appears to be Planet X. And that's going to occur when the stars fall out of heaven, which I talked about in another video, which is a reference to the sixth seal in Revelation 12, which would be the full moon. And the full moon is going to be, next full moon is going to be in 15 days from now. We just had Tishri 1 today. But she doesn't give birth to the male child until verse 5. So there's no rapture happen up here on September 23. It doesn't appear to be that. It just says that this woman's going to be in pains and labor and agony of giving birth. But you got to remember one thing. We haven't gotten there yet. We still got this to hang on to. We know in verse 7 of Isaiah 66, before she was in labor, she gave birth. Before her pain came, she delivered a son. So many people think this is the 144,000 that come before the Revelation 12 sign. And today's in the September 21st. Hey, clock's running out, guys. With that, you guys have a great evening, and God bless you.